Well, with the inception of the new GCSE, the idea of knowledge being lost over the 5 years that the students have till they get to the end of year 11 was a real concern of mine. So I was trying to address, how do we get students to learn more effectively? How do we get them to embed that knowledge and keep that knowledge to the end of year 11? And the skills that they've learnt in year 7, 8 and 9, how do we get them at the end of year 11 to recognise that those foundational skills are still relevant in year 11?
Yeah, that's a difficult one.
Okay, so it's kind of a multi-pronged approach really, and it's keeping blocked units because that seems to work for teachers more so than students. So we kept blocked units, but within those blocked units we've added layers, if you like, because ogres like layers, so we've added interleaved revision lessons, we've added or pause lessons as we call them, so we go back to previous learning after an optimum amount of time in order for students to have forgotten that information and then revisit it so that it kind of builds up in their long-term memories over time, and that continual cycle of going back to something that they've learnt before hopefully will pay dividends by the end of year 11, and we do that through 7 through to 11. So you know, the skills are always revisited. 7, 8, some of the knowledge is visited in 9, some of the skills are visited in 9, and then we've also done Rebecca Foster's 5 and 5 starters. We're bringing in year 7 and 8 Chris Curtis's writing challenges because we recognise that writing was still a problem. So it's kind of an evolving process, but essentially the idea is that we have layers within our curriculum map that specifically make students retain knowledge and skills. Well, I think the next steps has been the consolidation of the year. So we've reviewed it as a department. We've looked continuously through the year. We've talked about it. Like my point was, communication is key. If we don't communicate about it as a team, then it just kind of drops off the radar, and that's really not what we wanted to do, because you know, we put in knowledge organisers that we created ourselves, we put in multiple choice questions that we created ourselves. That's a huge amount of work, and it's just not letting it fall off the radar. So we've consolidated what we've done, we've reflected on what we've done, and we've adapted and tweaked some of the things that we were doing. So the curriculum map looks very similar to how it did last year, but we've taken on board feedback from teachers and we've tweaked things. I've taken on board feedback from the year 11 revision survey that I did, and we've tweaked things. So they liked the knowledge organisers, but they didn't feel that we pushed them enough, so we need to push them a bit more. We've put them all into the pink assessment booklet that we use, so that they're kind of there. They cannot forget them. You know, they're there. They are, you know, with them in their lessons, and that's, you know, it's just getting that consistency of use across the whole department. So the what next really is just to build on the foundations that this year has sort of been made.
Refine,
yeah, refine, adapt. And if it doesn't work, don't do it. So you know, we've dropped a couple of little things that we were doing, nothing massive, but we've dropped a couple of things just because teachers were saying it's impossible to do it all.